Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day to all of you. My name is Rizky Syam. I'm a master student of architecture at University of Indonesia. I'm here on behalf of other co-authors Dr. Rizky and Professor Dr. Paramita Atmodivirjo, PhD, to present the idea of quasi-material and quasi-things as element in the making of atmosphere in the architecture. This study explores the existence of quasi-material and quasi-things in affecting human senses and forming the atmosphere. The topic raised the discourse of materiality, specifically about connecting the material with human beings through the characteristics and properties of the material. This could be achieved by finding a new form of materiality through things. The existence of things in the atmosphere become important because something that did not have a form, or in other words, amorphic or immateriality, could have specific characteristics that shape the atmosphere. It is argued that the existence of quasi-material and quasi-things is important, as both could shift focus from designing material form-based into the amorphic, immaterial-based design. As we can see from the picture, architecture is not just about the material, the form, or the furniture inside, but it also contains atmospheres, things specifically. The unique thing about them is they could appear inside of the space without being there. Just like in the picture, we can see multiple light spots decorating the floor as a result of the sunlight entering the hollow roofs. It gives an impression as they exist as already material, but they are not. This unique phenomenon is called transcendental. We can also see there are so many things shaping the atmospheres, like the reflection of light, the beam of light, and the dark brownish scenery, which according to Sada are called quasi-things. Quasi means the resemblance of the original things, just like the sound of rain. And 2018 also said that quasi-things from the atmosphere can be used to shape the interior by interacting with a certain medium. As we can see from the picture, the sunlight interacts with the hollowed roofs that project those spotting lights on the floor as quasi-things. Thus, the sunlight become quasi-material. This quasi-material and quasi-thing become important because they created a new focus of design thinking to make something material become immaterial, because everything that is projected inside the atmosphere will be amorphic. This immaterial characteristic of quasi-material and quasi-things will create a direct connection to human or users. This research will use a study case method, as this method will explain descriptively, to identify each quasi-material and quasi-things that play a role in the making of the atmosphere. This will help to explore each precedents of atmospheric architecture by observing the process of design thinking, goals, and method used by the architect to achieve the desired atmospheric space. This analysis process will identify a certain quasi-material that interacts with a certain media and the kind of quasi-things that are projected. The next step is aligning all of the similar quasi-material to unveil the hidden potential. This research will use 5 atmospheric architecture precedents to be analyzed. They are the result of the analysis, starting with the broader class spell by Peter Zumthor. He planned to generate a solemn mystical space that triggers the solemnness to pray and so on, which was achieved by utilizing 3 quasi-materials, sunlight, wind, and water, that interact with hollowed roofs, door gaps, and hollowed wall that project quasi-things such as spotting light, narrowing light, flowing wind, dripping water, and the sparkling light. The second precedence blur building by Dylan and Scott video intended to create a blurred environment to dim out human sense using white noises and mist in order to create an immersive environment. They are achieved by utilizing 4 quasi-material, the sunlight, seawater, mist itself, and artificial light. Produce specific quasi-things like water mist, the sound of nozzles, scenery, spreading light, diffuse light, and flowing mist. The Swiss sound box by Peter Zumthor planned to utilize sound in the atmosphere using wood stack structures. This was achieved by utilizing 4 quasi-material, just like sunlight, the sound of talking people, the sound of talking people in orchestras, wind, and rainwater, which interacted with wooden frames, wooden tubes, and steel roofs that projected quasi-things such as sparkling lights, soothing wind, echoed sound, and the sound of rain. Pepsi Pavilion by EIT is intended to create mind-altering realities that use immersive environment to create social interactions between the user and the virtual reflections. That achieved by using 3 quasi-materials such as water, light tower, and user reflections that project quasi-things such as water mist, light barrier, floating reflection, echoing sound, and emitting sound. The last precedence, House Atmosphere by House, only utilized 1 quasi-material, the sunlight, that interact with the polygonal pattern inflatable structure filled with gas and transparent seams to project quasi-things like beam of light, the shower of light, luminous maze, and so on. As we can see, from the overview, light as quasi-material will project various quasi-things depending on the media interacted. It also shows a different quasi-things will give a different experience, such as spotting light will give a feeling of space, a light trick will give a light of hope, and a sparkling light will give a calming experience. Wind, as quasi-materials, also project various quasi-things depending on the media it interacts with. It also shows two types of wind as quasi-thing. The visible one, such as fog and mist, will trigger the visual senses, and the invisible one, which could only be responded to through the skin and the hearing sense. Water, as quasi-material, will project various quasi-things depending on the media it interacts with. Quasi-things that are projected by water will insert peace to the mind, just like the sound of flowing water also produces a continuous sound that brings serenity. Sound, as quasi-material, also project various quasi-things depending on the media it interacted with. Sound, as quasi-things, can also be produced using advanced artificial intelligence. The existence of particular sounds in the atmosphere will decide the type of scenery of the atmosphere, because the sound will trigger a specific memory of image or fantasy. From the analysis results, it could be discussed that several quasi-materials like sun and wind will have a similar behavior when interacting with similar media. It also shows how different types of quasi-materials that projected several quasi-things could give the same experience, such as the rain that interacted with the hollow roofs, causing it to drip, will give the scenery to the cave interior. These phenomena also conclude three things. One, a particular quasi-material can produce numerous quasi-things through different kind of mediums. Two, some of the produced quasi-things can be reworked to be the new quasi-material and interact with the medium to create new quasi-things. This occurred when the quasi-things that are projected are being interacted directly with different mediums. Three, in same conditions, it requires several interactions from quasi-material and quasi-things to create specific atmospheres. The graphic can also be simplified to show the specific formula of how quasi-material and quasi-thing work in the making of the atmospheric architecture. This formula implies that there are unlimited resources on how to create a desired architectural elements, such as walls, doors, windows, roofs, and others, but those architectural elements will be shaped due to the media being interacted by quasi-materials to produce specific quasi-things inside the atmosphere. By using this method, the whole architectural structure and the construction are only there to support the built atmosphere, meaning in the future, the form and facade of the architecture are the results of the built atmosphere. In the conclusions, this research finds quasi-material and quasi-things as important elements in the making of a good, sense-triggering atmosphere through the study case method by analyzing several atmospheric architecture's precedents to show how quasi-material and quasi-thing work in the making of particular atmospheres. This research also reveals that some of the quasi-things can be reworked as a quasi-material to be interacted with the medium and produce new quasi-things that gives different atmospheres and experience. The finding proves the role of quasi-material and quasi-things as the immaterial aspect give a direct connection between human and materiality by triggering their senses and revoking emotions. From these findings, we suggest future research that talks about the application of this method in architectural structures. Thank you for your attention. I hope this research will serve as an act of contribution to the development of architectural material discourse related to quasi-material and quasi-things as important elements in architecture. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.